The first agenda, that can we show practically that really bootstrap class loader or extension class loader or application class loader is what loading our dot class file. So practical demonstration regarding class loader this is the first practical part. Okay, practical demonstration regarding the class loader. Number two, sir, what is static block, sir? Static block. What is static block? What is static block? What is static block? Okay, and the number three, sir. Number three, number three is what interview questions, sir. In most of the time, interview they are going to ask in interview. What, sir? Sir, difference between java.lang.class not found exception. Listen, difference between java.lang.class not found exception. If all the class loader unable to load the required dot class file into JVM memory, then you will get class not found exception. Class not found exception. So, what is the difference between java.lang class not found exception and no class def found error? And what's that? And java.lang dot no class no class def found error. Def found error. This is the third agenda we have, sir. This is the third agenda. And one more agenda, practical part we will see. What is the drawback? What is the drawback of new keyword? New keyword. What is the drawback of new keyword? New keyword. Okay, what is the drawback of new keyword? Here we have two or three questions. Okay, we will complete one by one. So these are the four practical demonstration. Now we need to learn. Okay, up to class loader, sir. Then of course in the method area again we have some practical part. But up to here, up to class loader, whatever we have learned till here. Okay, the agenda is what? These four agenda we have. Practical demonstration regarding class loader, what is static block, and difference between java.lang class not found exception and java.lang no class def found error. Okay, and then what is the drawback of new keyword? Okay, so let's start. So first, let me go to the D drive. Here we have what? There is a folder called JVM architecture. Yes. Now inside this JVM architecture, look at, sir. Look at, this is the first part. Just look at carefully. Sir, which class loader is loading our classes? Which class loader is loading our classes? Okay, so how to know? Sir, public class test. It's quite simple, sir. Public class test. So whenever you will compile this program, then what will happen? Internally, our Java compiler will generate test.class file or not? Yes, our Java compiler will generate test.class file. Correct or not? Yes, of course. After compilation, we will get what? Test.class file, class file. Now, public static void main string of arguments system.out.println. This test.class file is loaded by which class loader? Please give me the name. Get a class loader. So test.class dot what, sir? Get a class loader. Just test.class means what? The file generated by the compiler, sir. Don't confuse. Class C is what? A small test.class. That means the file generated by the compiler. On that particular file, I want to apply a method what? Get a class loader. Now, get a class loader. If you run this program, look at what class loader you will get. Of course, this class loader, this test class is created by us. Okay, so you will get what? Application class loader, sir. Java C test.java. Sorry, Java C test.java and Java test. Yes, sir. Look at. JDK dot internal dot loader class loader, sir, application class loader, application class loader. Okay, so this is describing that, yes, sir, very simple, sir. Test dot class, the file generated by compiler, and upon that, what, sir, get class loader. Please take the screenshot of this program. Sir, listen carefully. Sir, I have a class. Let's say I have a class foo. Now, inside this foo class, let's say I have a constructor. Listen very carefully. I'm talking about a static block, sir. I'm talking about a static block. Okay, class foo. Now you can see this is a constructor, sir. So this is a constructor. System dot out dot println default constructor. Default constructor. Very nice. Now, you remember in the constructor, I told you one topic, instance block, system.out.println, and I told you that instance blocks are executed before the constructor. Yes or no? Just reply me. Just be active. Yes or no? You remember instance blocks are executed what, sir, before the constructor. We have a constructor, then we have a what, instance block. Okay. I hope you remember this point. Come on, reply me. Say yes or no. Are you getting this one? We have a constructor and we have a what? Instance block. Yeah, I can see. Yes, fine. Now, sir, where have we have one more special thing here. It is just like instance block, sir. Just like instance block. But if inside the instance block, okay, it's just like instance block. Look at just like instance block. But if you write a static keyword here, if you write a static keyword here, now it will become a static block. If you write a static keyword here, it will become a static block. Okay, now it is static block, sir. System dot out dot println. It is a static block. Here, what's a static block? Static block. Okay, now, so you can see we have a constructor, we have an instance block, we have a what? A static block. Sir, when this static block gets executed, listen. Sir, static block gets executed at a time of loading the dot class file into JVM memory. Listen very carefully, sir. This point is very important. Sir, when this static block gets executed, sir, the static block gets executed at a time of loading the dot class file into JVM memory. Sir, when the instance block and constructor will execute, sir, at the time of creating the object, at the time of creating the object. But what about this static block, sir? This static block will be executed at the time of loading itself, at the time of loading itself. That is the reason now in this program, first of all, static block will execute, then if you create object, then only the instance block will execute, and finally what, constructor will execute, sir. Okay, because static blocks gets executed at the time of loading the dot class file into JVM memory. Okay, and it will be loaded only once, sir. It will be loaded only once. Why? Because you will load the class only. You can create object multiple times. You can create object multiple times, but class loading will be done only once or not? Yes, only once. So class loading means what? At the time of loading the dot class file, this static block will execute it, and instance block and constructor is depending upon the object creation. How many times you are creating the object? So let's say here class demo. This is my executable logic class. Public static void main string of args. String of args. Now here, sir, look at here. I'm creating the object for, look at foo. So foo f1 is equal to new foo. Yes, object is created. Very nice. Now, sir, now what will happen? Sir, first of all, this static block will execute. That means you will get the output static block. Then you will get the output instance block. And then you will get the output what? Default constructor. Let's see. Demo.java. Java C demo.java. Yes, sir. Compiled Java demo. Look at. Yes, sir. First of all, what's a static block? Then only instance block, then only default constructor. Okay, static block, instance block, and then what? Default constructor. So we have a static block which would be executed at the time of loading the dot class file itself. That is the reason it is the first block. It is the first block to execute. Okay, now here look at sir. So static block means what? It is the first block which would be executed. Okay, it is the first block which would be executed. And now if you create the object one more time, let's say foo f2 is equal to new foo, foo f2 is equal to new foo. Okay, then what will happen? The static block will be executed or not? No, sir, the static block will not be executed. Why? Because the static block will be executed only once at the time of loading the dot class file. But what about instance block and default constructor? Sir, instance block and default constructor would be executed every time we create an object, because they are, those are related with the object concept. Okay, now if you compile this program. Yes, look at sir. Static block only once. What about instance block and default constructor? Yes, sir. Okay, it is related with the object, sir. It is related with the object. First object, for first object, instance block, default constructor. For second object, instance block, a default constructor. But what about a static block? Only once. Only once. Okay, I hope it's clear. So now, okay. I hope you have taken the screenshot. Now, please take this program, sir. So from line number 1 to line number 13. Okay, from line number 1 to line number 13. Now from line number 13 to, from line number 13 to line number 27. Okay, so I hope it's clear now. Now listen, what is next, sir? Sir, what is next? Try to understand. So these two part done, sir. Now we will move to difference between java.lang. It is an interview question, sir. Java.lang.class not found exception and no class def found error. Okay, let's see. Sir, whenever we write a class, let's say class foo, okay, class foo, and let's say we have a class, here we have a main method, here we have a main method, okay, here we have a main method, of course, PSVM, okay, here we have a main method. Now, inside this main method, I can create object foo f1 is equal to what's a new foo. That means what? When I listen carefully, sir, very carefully. What will happen when I compile this program? When I compile this program, we will get two dot class files, sir. We will get what? Two dot class file. Listen very why words very carefully, sir. Very important point, sir. After compilation, if we successfully compile this program, we will get what? We will get a main dot class, and we will also get what's a foo dot class. All the dot class file depends upon the number of classes you are defining in a file. Listen, all the dot class files are what available, the number of classes you are defining in a file. In a file, if you have three class, that means three dot class. If five class, that means five dot class. 10 class means 10 dot class. Simple, sir. In a file, how many classes you have defined, that many dot class file you will get in your folder. Okay, simple concept. Five classes are defined by me, so I will get five dot class five. 10 classes are defined by me, I will get 10 dot class five. So here two classes we have foo and main, so that's why we will get what main dot class and what foo dot class. Now, sir, JVM starts the execution from what? From main method. JVM starts the execution from main method. So when when the JVM will search this main method, of course it will search this main method in what? Main dot class file. So main dot class file, inside this main dot class file, main method is available where from where the program execution will begin. Okay, fine. So got it? Yes. Now while executing this main method, you are getting what? Foo f is equal to new foo. That means what? We are creating an object for foo class. We are creating an object for foo class. Then what the JVM will do? JVM will request the class loader subsystem that please load the foo.class file in JVM memory, because user has requested to create the object for foo class. So look at main is automatically loaded by what? JVM is searching the main.class file to execute the main method. To execute the main method, JVM will automatically search what? Main.class file. Correct or not? Yes. Where is the main.class? Why? Because the main.class file is containing what? Main method. So after searching the main method, the first line what's our foo f1 is equal to new foo. That means user want to create the object for foo class. Then immediately what the JVM will do? JVM will request the class loader subsystem that please load the foo.class file, where this foo.class file is available in the API level library, or it is what? GRE level library, or from what? From environment variable. But load this foo.class file. Okay, now of course now the class loader subsystem will load this foo.class file, and now we will create the object for foo.class file, so we can access the member of what? Foo. Correct or not? Yes, sir. Sir, this is JVM is requesting to load this class file to the class loader. But what if I want to explicitly load the dot class file? Sir, I want to explicitly load the dot class file, sir. How to load, sir? Sir, I know. Okay, JVM is internally loading this foo.class file. First of all, JVM is internally loading this main.class. As a part of this main.class, JVM has what? Foo class. So JVM is also loading what? A foo.class. But I don't want this, sir. I want to load the dot class file explicitly. Explicitly. What to do? Look at. For that purpose, if I want to load the dot class file explicitly, if I want to if I want to load load the dot class file explicitly then we need to use one statement, sir. What is the statement? Look at very carefully, sir. There is a predefined class called class. There is a predefined class called class. It is a predefined class, sir. C capital. It is not a keyword, sir. It is not a keyword. It is a predefined class available in java.lang package. It is a predefined class available in java.lang package. Class dot, it contains a static method of for name. Class dot for name. This is the statement where class is a predefined class available in what? Java.lang package. And for them is a static method to load explicitly the dot class files into JVM memory. Okay, so what I can write? I can write here what's a foo. I can write here what's a foo. Yes. So that means what? I want to load this dot class file. I want to load foo dot class file explicitly. Correct or not? Sir, class, what's a class? Sir, predefined class, predefined class in java.lang package. Java.lang package. Okay, fine. What about forename, sir? Sir, forename is a static method, sir. Sir, forename is a static method. Forename is a static method. It is a static method. A static method of class called called what's a class. Okay, so here class C capital of class called a class. So this is how we can load our class explicitly. This is how we can load our class WhatsApp explicitly. First, you take this screenshot of this one. If I want to load the dot class file explicitly, then we need to write this statement class dot forename and the name of the class. Here class is WhatsApp predefined class in java.lang package, and forename is a WhatsApp. It is a static method of class called class. Okay, fine. Now, now look at very carefully. Okay, now let's see. Sir, look at. Sir, let's say I have a class. Let's say I have a class student. I have a class student, and this student class is containing what's one static block. This student class is containing static block system dot out dot println static block. Come on, please write in the chat window when this static block will be executed, sir. Can you write in the chat window when this static block will be executed? When this static block will be executed, sir? Come on, sir. When this static block will be executed? Sir, at the time of loading the student dot class file into JVM memory. Say yes or no. At the time of loading the student dot class file into JVM memory. Yes, correct. At the time of loading the student dot class file into JVM memory, this static block will be executed. Now what I can do, I can create an object here. Okay, I can create an object here, but I don't want to load the student dot class file implicitly, sir. I want to load this student dot class file explicitly. What is the solution? Yes, we have what, sir? We have a statement. We have a statement. What, sir? Class dot for name. Here we need to write the name of the class. What is the name of the class, sir? Student. Sir, student. Sir, it is throwing various exceptions, sir. Exception. You will come to know in exception handling this concept. But here I need to write what? Throws exception. Throws exception. Now, why we write throws exception in exception handling concept? You will come to know. Okay. Why? Because it is throwing some exceptions, sir. Exception. Okay, what exception? Maybe you are writing something that is not available. Okay, so that's why it is throwing some exception, throws exception. Now you save this program. Now listen, sir, if this class dot for name is responsible to load the dot class file. Okay, if this class dot for name is responsible to load the dot class file, then 100% pakka this static block will be executed. Okay, if this class dot for name is really loading the dot class file, into JVM memory, then sir, 100% pakka that we will get the output what static block. If you are getting the output static block, that means of course this student class is loaded into JVM memory, and we will confirm that yes sir, class dot for name is used to load the required dot class file into JVM memory explicitly. Let's see test one. So Java C test one dot Java. Yes, compile Java test one. Yes, sir. We got the output, sir. We got the output static block. Now you tell me, without loading this dot class file, can we execute this static block? No. That means student dot class file is successfully loaded into JVM memory or not? Yes. Sir, who load this student dot class file into JVM memory? Sir, this is statement. Class dot for name what student? Class dot for name student. Okay, is it clear all of you? Just write in the chat window. Is it clear? You are getting my point, or you need some extra explanation? Is it clear? Is it clear? Yeah, I can see. Yes, fine. Now, let's say, sir, look at, let's say here I want to search, here I want to load employee class. Look at, here I want to load what's an employee class. Employee class. Now employee class is not there, sir. Sir, employee class is not there. Look at, we have a student class, sir. We don't have employee class. Now what will happen when you compile this program? Compiler doesn't have any issue. Look at, the program will perfectly compile, sir. Okay, because compiler doesn't know whether the employee class is available or not available. Compiler checks the syntax. Syntactically it is correct. A class dot for them throws exception, everything is fine. If you don't write throws exception, look, if you comment this, and now if you compile, now if you compile, okay, look at, yes. Now compiler has a big problem. Compiler has a big problem. Okay. Compiler has, I will tell you each and everything, the complete detail about this unreported exception. So right from the beginning, I told you compiler only check the syntax, not semantics, not semantics. So compiler will checking the syntax. Okay, whether the employee class is available or not available, that is the tension of JVM. Okay, I need to check only the syntax. I need to check only the syntax, whether this employee class is available or not available. Okay, JVM will see. So yes, I compiled. I have given the free pass to this test dot class. Go to the JVM for happily execution. When the JVM will execute, when the JVM will execute, what will happen? JVM is unable to load. JVM is unable to load the employee dot class file, because employee dot class file is not present, sir. Employee dot class file is not present. Okay, so all the class loader will load this employee.class file, but employee.class file is not present. Why? Because there is no class called employee. If there is a class called employee, then automatically the compiler will generate the employee.class file or not? Yes, but there is no class employee, sir. So there is no class employee, that means there is no employee.class file. So now here the JVM will generate exception. What's a java.lang.class not found exception. Yes. Exception in threadman java.lang.class not found exception. Sir, look at JDK base internal loader load class. Okay, these are application class loader. These are unable to load. These are unable to load your dot class file, sir. Okay, JDK internal loader class loader application class loader unable to load what, sir? Your class. What class? Employee class. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, I hope it's clear. So that's why we are getting what? We are getting java.lang class not found exception. Okay, so what is definition, sir? What is the definition? Class not found exception, sir. Class not found, of course we will write the definition in the next class, don't worry. Today just you listen, nothing else. Okay, sir, what is the definition of class not found exception? The definition of class not found exception is, it occurs when we try to load a class at runtime. it occurs when we try to load a class at runtime by using class dot forename, by using class dot forename statement, and the required class is not found by JVM at runtime. The required class is not found at JVM, JVM not found by JVM at runtime. Then the JVM will generate what? JVM will generate the class not found exception. Okay, so we are trying to load some class, but that dot class file is not available at runtime. Now look at the next program, sir. What is the next program? Look at the next program very carefully. Sir, class message void, so simple example, sir. Class message void so system.out.println hello learner. Class test2 public static void main string of arguments. Look at very simple message this class object message m1 is equal to new message m1 dot, so simple sir, simple test2. Now when you compile this program, look at, when you compile this program test2, so whenever you compile this program test2.java, what will happen? Of course, you will get message.class and test2.class. Correct or not? Message.class file and test2.class file. Let's see you're getting in the memory or not. Message.class and test2.class. So go to the Java JVM architecture, sort by type. Okay, look at message.class and test2.class. If you look at carefully, 20th December 8:32 a.m. this test2.class and this message 20th December 8:32 a.m. just right now. Okay, now I am going to delete this dot class file from here. Look at, I am going to delete this dot class file from here, sir. Message. Yes, sir. Deleted. So dot class file is deleted. Now dot class file is not available. Message dot class file is not available. Now if I want to run this program, what will happen? JVM will request the class loader subsystem. Okay, first of all, JVM will load test2 dot class. No problem. Test2 dot class file is available, sir. Okay, now when you create the object, what will happen? The JVM will request the class loader subsystem to load message.class file, but message.class file is not available. Okay, then what will happen? No class def found error. Look, exception in threadman java.lang no class def found error. That means what, sir? When we will get no class def found error, listen, try to find out the difference. Try to find out the difference. Sir, no class def found error. It occurs when the class was present at the time of compilation. Okay, at the time of compilation, the class was present, but at runtime, the required dot class file is not available. Class is present at compilation time but not available at runtime. Okay, no class never found error. But okay, let's see these programs, sir. Okay, this one, sir. Test one, sir. What, sir? Sir, if you try to load the dot class file at runtime itself, there is no question of compilation time. Directly, I want to load the dot class file at runtime itself. Okay, runtime itself. Try to find the difference here. Here there is no question of compilation time loading. Here everything is what I'm directly trying to load the dot class file at runtime itself. At runtime, if you are not getting class, then class not found exception. But if the class is present at compilation time, sir, how you can say it is present at compilation time? Sir, if it's present, then only compiler allowed to create the object or not. If this message class is not available here, can we create the object? Can we write this syntax? No, sir. That means the class is available at compilation time. At compilation time, the class is available. Then only we are creating the object. Okay. If the message class is not available here and you write this, of course, you will get a compilation error. So class is available at compilation time, but the required dot class file is not available at runtime. Then what you will get, sir? You will get a java.lang no class def found error. So I hope it's clear. Okay, I hope you got the idea what how to find out what class not found exception and no class def found error. Okay, tomorrow we will write these program and we will see